Yo, what's going on? It's my last day out for sure. Tomorrow back to school, right? But really, we always at school. We're always supposed to be learning. So, what's up, NPC the game? Live from Taiwan, District 13. Today's episode is The Hidden Mind, what astrology got right about the 12th house. My last day out. Yeah. Shout out to the fam, Marathon Kid. Looks like he's having a blast out there in Vegas. Shout out to Marathon Kid and the crew. What's going on, Leopard Prince? Good to see you always, fam. Look within, the hardest working man in the metaverse. Shadow Buddha, my twin. What's going on? Yeah, 12th house, man. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. The 12th house. Very special house. Very special house. This is a very special house. You're very special people. Yeah. Very special house. NPC the game. Gabriel Carbo. Yeah, the 12th house, man. So the 12th house is those 12 houses in your astrology chart, your natal chart, which is your personality chart. And one can say that each sector of the house represents a station in life, a category in life, a part of your life, right? In the 12th house, we can say literally that represents endings, right? The 12th house represents your subconscious and hidden nature. It's the mansion or house of loss, liberation, isolation, and decline. This house governs such things as misery, waste, expenses, divine knowledge, sympathy, and life after death. It's also the house of detachment. This house makes you incur expenses in various ways. For example, buying a insurance policies or spending money on a wedding, education fees. This is the Piscean energy, the 12th house, which is characterized by imagination, intuition, and isolation. The 12th house reminds me about the unseen realm that exists without physical form. You just know it's there. The realm of dreams. What did you dream about last night, chat? Emotions and secrets. The house of the 12th governs the secret toll of the mind and other unfortunate matters. It is connected to fear and anxiety, misgivings, subconscious, suspicion, inferiority complexes, imposter theory, solitude, secrets, silent sufferings, all undoings of the self are part of this house. The undoing of the self is the first house. That's why we have that mantra, I am, right? With the Aries, I am. Pisces, I'm undoing. You're undoing the self in order to go back into the collective consciousness. So when your planets are transferring in the 12th house, we tend to attract karmic people into our lives. But during this period, we must also remember that not all relationships are meant to last. And in being in the last house, the 12th house also relates to the final liberation from the cycle of birth and death. It opens the door to the ultimate peace and tranquility. It's about acknowledging the importance of spirituality. You've always known as a child that spirituality was important. It's just it wasn't probably at your forefront. But the older you get, this starts to come out. The 12th house also implies the culmination of one's life as it nears the end and strives to fulfill its purpose of acquiring a better life in the next birth. It's believed that life will be a waste of time if you don't elevate to your spiritual purpose. Um, I have Pisces in the 12th house. The planet is Neptune, and it's definitely the 12th house does have a preoccupation with endings, with the planets, any planets in there, right? Like if let's say you have Leo in the 12th house, Leo creativity, right? Children, luck. In the 12th house, you may think about if you're lucky, Leo in the 12th house, like, when is my luck gonna end? It's like when you remember when you were little and you went on vacation and maybe your family went to the beach for 2 weeks. And as soon as the second week began, you started to feel this terror and despair that the week would soon be over and you'll have to go home soon. And you wish the vacation would never end. And this anxiety about something being over, which you have no power over, the passage of time and the changes it brings ruined half of your vacation. You know, it's like I had 12 days off, but 12, 13 days off. But I didn't start thinking about, I guess I did think about the end a little bit for sure. I have to be honest, right? But I didn't let it encompass my whole time. I'm having a good time and recharging. And when you look at somebody's natal chart, which is just your personality chart, you see a strong, you see a strong 12th house focus of any sort. Definitely the laws of synchronicity, meaningful coincidence, suggest that people are studying endings in this lifetime. One way to say it is that they're transforming that child's attitude about the end of a vacation to the wiser adult's attitude. That's definitely an effective working metaphor that I use for the evolutionary process that we're exploring here when we're going through the houses, because it's really about learning how to let things go gracefully and learning to learn from endings, you know? Am I right? What's up, man? Thanks, bro. Yep. Master Tarot reading. You were getting props over there in the mail stream. Zephyr was giving you props. He's like, Provo, he reads those tarot cards so good. How can he do it? He's a natural. He did it as a joke, and now he's he's killing it with it. And she gave the example of Beastie Boys, how they went to rap like a joke parody, but they ended up, being amazing. Right? Yeah. So we're in this lifetime, on to the next. Like Michael Jackson said, follow the lit yellow brick road, right? Beyond the yellow brick road. What's beyond the yellow brick road? I truly know that this tarot journey, and more specifically the house journey, the 12 houses, is definitely the soul's journey through this thing we call 3D squish reality, right? And I view the wheel of the houses as a metaphorical journey or stages of development of our soul. What's our soul? Our experiences that we have in this lifetime, and thoughts and loves. And the way I see it is that the first houses are about individual growth, and the second four are more about your development within relationships, and the last four are about your role within society. This may be like a oversimplification. However, you get the idea. Yeah. And viewing it in this way, the 12th house is very complex because it represents the conclusion of your soul's journey. It's about reflection, ending, deaths, metaphorical karma, cause and effect, basically. Yeah. I have to say, yeah, cause and effect, right? That's what you might not want to face addiction, etc. And not everyone will agree with this. However, this is my take. I have I have Pisces in the 12th house, and I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this, and definitely makes a lot of sense to me the more I look into this. You know, I think the more I focus on gratitude for what I have, the more, and the people and the few people I do have in my life, the more I learn to be at peace with myself. And one could be said that the 12th house does deal with suffering here and now, but I'm stopping right now dwelling on all that suffering and being. I want to be grateful for where I'm at right now because we're a survivor, man. You were the one sperm out of billions of sperm to hit that egg, and it's good to get into 12th house things about fantasy and science fiction and whatnot, but try to bring it. I'm gonna bring it back to here and now.
Okay, and finally, last but not least, is Pisces, which is February 19th to March 20th. It's a mutable water sign ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. Pisces represents the push and pull between the reality of the world we live in and what we are striving for spiritually. Pisces energy is creative.
Yeah, so it's the energy of the dreamer, the artist, the musician, the mystic. The Pisces energy is very gentle. It's soft, it's dreamy, it's kind. Its dark side would also then be like passive aggressiveness, um, issues with uh, being checked out from reality, perhaps. Excessive TV watching, drug and alcohol use, things like that.
Okay, so the
Facts, because when I think of the 12th house, we think about there's someone could be suffering depression, inward suffering is inward depression, inward suffering and trauma and violence against yourself. When you want to be dramatic, you can say that. The excessive escapism, excessive television watching for sure, YouTube watching and whatnot. Even reading fantasy could take you out that suffering you have on your plate. You can go far places with it. I get it. I get it. I love to do it too, man. There was a time where, and shit, it's been like that lately, where my dreams were more of a place to look forward to than my waking life. You ever had that feeling or that experience or been in that cycle where it's like you just want to go to sleep and dream because what's going on in the dream life seems like a lot more uh, poignant, more exciting, and more uplifting than you feel more alive when you're in the dream rather when you're while you're sleeping. Yeah, it didn't take it took an outward experience to make me think like, hey, flip that the other way around. I think I told the story like when I was started dating my wife. We used to hang out. Like it seemed like my dream life and my awaking life were the one and the same because it was like a lot going on in a good way, exciting and whatnot. Why not remember that and keep that with us? Uh, but yeah, it's fun to it feels good sometimes to recharge into the fantasy realm. You know, this story, dude, that this guy was telling me about how God bless him, he had to bury his grandmother not too long ago, and and the people were sharing their memories and stories about her, and he was telling me he started talking about uh the stories about that he had memories he had with his grandmother. However, people started talking over him, right? So he said he waited for them to finish, and he kept trying again and again, but they keep speaking over him. Mind you, he's a younger cat, but still, I mean, come on, bro. Dude's trying to get his shit off. And then when he told me when he finally he said his piece about his grandmother, nobody said anything, while everyone else got laughs or add-ons to the story, right? He felt ignored, and when he told me that, I could feel it, man. I could see it in him, in his eyes, and I don't know. Made me think about I've been in similar situations. Maybe it's just we had a different experience with that loved one than anyone else had, and they couldn't relate, or maybe we're just feeling fucking talked over and not isolated and not acknowledged. And yeah, that really encapsulates that feeling of isolation and hurt that you can feel when you're in that deep space, that sunken place of despair of the 12th house, right? And honestly, I wish I knew how to remedy it. Remedy it. Uh, I mean, we could say stuff like you need to find the right people, and then this won't happen. But seriously, I wonder if it's more just a 12th house thing of that we must make peace with uh, these things at some point. Not everyone's gonna get you right. What are you gonna do about it? You gotta keep it moving, huh? Yeah, every since my whole past feels like a dream. Life is but a dream, right? Life is but a dream. Type of stuff used to happen to me. I feel, at times when I was growing up, feeling ignored and invisible. Maybe some of y'all feel it sometimes in the panel verse. Maybe it doesn't happen as much for us older people because now we're more aware of who we spend time with. But it still happens, and it does trigger memories from the past. And I'm sorry for y'all if that ever happens to you. And it's a learning lesson, right? That might be the very reason we struggle in relationships. It's like we're not even seen by certain people. Isolated. Pisces, institutions like mental hospitals. Think about all the people that are locked away. We used to go to Agnew's Developmental Center in Silicon Valley to do community service and help these people. A lot of times they had Down syndrome or other genetic disorders that caused them to not being cared for by their family members because it was a toll on them. But yet these people were locked away in their rooms and whatnot, and we would come on Sundays from my Catholic school, and we would wheel them out to the church, to the chapel cathedral, so they can go to church. Yeah. What if we flip this and maybe this isolation, this 12th house isolation, is because we're ignoring our own feelings because we're very sensitive creatures, a lot of us, and we ignore our own feelings by putting other people's feelings before our own, and then we get lost. Well, I've seen a good way to kind of like shake it up is just to get off your ass. It feels awful, but it works for me anyway. We can blame everyone for treating you that way, not acknowledging you. But how do you treat yourself? How do you allow other people to treat you? How do you allow yourself to treat yourself? It sounds madness what I'm talking about. I don't even have any planets in the 12th house, so I can't. It's hard. It seems like hard to figure out like what's going on there. Uh, and because I don't have any planets there, it's become such a focus for me to learn and to teach myself about that energy right there. Uh, Maybe that's the whole point. I don't have planets there because I've been there, done that, and this is how you do it on default. Grounding yourself, Gabriel. It's applying grounding. That is what's being taught to me, which is surprisingly difficult at times. Grounding when we've had like 20 earthquakes in the last 13 days. It's almost like I'm learning to walk again, huh? Yeah. This is like the when I think of Pisces people with that energy or sun sign, it's like they might as well be invisible. That should be their new name at this point because it's like when they're there and they're dynamic and balanced, they're mystical and powerful and whatnot. But when they're not around, it's like they were never even there. It's like they weren't even there, right? Yeah, being forgotten and ignored does suck sometimes. It does. What you gonna do though, huh? What's going on, Kev? Yeah, 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 yeah. uh, yeah. This is like no, this is like the positive way I look at the 12th house in the sense that it's probably asking us to be our true authentic self. Because if you do have planets here that it's like behind the scenes, they live in a alternative state and they're searching for closure. Because I'm seeing that when we incarnate here, our soul has already decided what it needs to have happen and places planets throughout the houses based on what that need is. And if the the soul chooses to place planets in the 12th house, the house of spirituality and the subconscious, where the soul resides, it does it so it has some easy accents to those planets, and the other houses are usually rife with ego, and the soul cannot even easily interact with those places, with those planets. And where the ego is dominant, and I'm not using ego in the negative terms. In any way, it's not impossible. But those planets have more free will, they're more in the forefront of our lives, we can say, versus behind the scenes in the houses. And 12 houses, uh, especially the 12th house is the house of endings. So with the planet there, the ego comes to an end, and in doing so, the planets in the 12th house can express themselves in a more pure way. I don't have planets there, so maybe my ego is slowly dissolving, right? I think a lot of people are drawn to authentic people, right? They love to be around authentic people because they don't have to worry about being used or lied to or manipulated. They know exactly what they're getting, or so they think they do, right? I think an issue comes in when the 12th housers subconsciously and sometimes consciously ask for or expect authenticity in return. And a lot of people are afraid to be their authentic selves, so it sparks all kinds of negative responses in them. It causes something akin to a flight or fight, right? That's part of that experience. And other people will turn their back to it or turn their back on that 12th houser, and they accuse them of something they're not responsible for. When in fact, we thought we were just being ourselves. However, because they're very much into their ego, they don't see it for what it is. They haven't prepared to look within themselves, because like we are like mirrors, and when people see the fake persona they're putting on or the shadow work they're avoiding, they want someone else to be responsible for it, right? Yeah, and this whole thing about mirrors and all that shit reminds me of this great, pretty, we'll hype it up. This great video I saw about Libra in the 12th house, because this channel is for Benjamin, my son, and his culture of excellence. NPC the game. All my channels, technically, but especially this one. This is for you, Ben. And this whole thing about the we are mirrors of each other, learning from each other, is very prominent in his placement of he has Libra in the 12th house. Okay. He has it right here.
Welcome. We're talking today about Libra ruling the 12th house and what it means if you have this placement in your natal chart. I'm Rachel Hardy. This is the series on house rulership using whole sign Western astrology. And the 12th house, very last house in the zodiac cycle, represents the unconscious, all the deep inner spaces. It represents your dream spaces, your psychic and intuitive abilities, all the places that you hold that are so rich, so beautiful, all of this incredible creativity and depth and knowing that is not necessarily connected to your conscious mind. So let's talk about Libra. Libra is the idea of partnership and the idea of the universe mirroring back to us who we are or information about who we're being, how we're being. If you think about how your relationships will always be teaching you and reflecting information to you about yourself, doesn't mean the other person is literally the same as you. It means that in that meeting, there is undeniably a meeting of yourself that happens through partnership, through meeting the other of any kind.
Yeah, this is interesting enough when my son has these relationships with people even at a young age in school. He's only in first grade. Ben, I'm talking to you right now. Yeah, yeah. The way you were, if you're watching this in the time travel, this is your pops. Uh, yeah, I've noticed like you have these dynamic relationships where sometimes you'll be like really close to one of your friends or classmates, but then something will happen that will cause them to be your enemy. Yeah, you look at them as an enemy when in fact, and I think if you're listening to this years later from when I'm recording this, uh, your if you would see the relationship holistically, you would see how each one of these people that the reason why you enjoyed their company in the beginning was probably because you gel, man, and you're seeing the goodness in yourself, right? But then when you see the quote unquote negative things that you don't like about yourself and them, um, it's a teaching lesson, man, how to sharpen up so you can get better. And also helping the other, Libra, helping your friend as well. So you got to stick with it. Stick with those friendship if they really mean something to you. Because in the end, all these people are teaching us how to be cool guys and girls. Right? What's up, crazy mama? Good listening and seeing you. Good to see you. Yeah, so Ben, give it a chance, okay? Give them a chance.
We're thinking about one-to-one relationships in particular here of all sorts. So when Libra is the ruler of the 12th house, there's a couple different ways this could play out. I'm going to invite you to feel for how this shows up for you, how your Libra 12th house consciousness expresses itself and has been playing out on your journey.
Yeah, let me know. Hey, y'all can hop on. Anyone can hop on right now. Preferably we can talk about the Pisces 12th house, but if that's not your thing, if you want to get something off your chest, this is your time. It's my last day out, man. It's my last day out today. I'm not gonna be well, who knows what'll happen really, right? Until it happens. But I'm not gonna be around like I used to on these on this YouTube grandstand. Maybe once a week or something like that. Two if I'm lucky. I'm not gonna be here every day, so you've been blessed to have me for the last 13 days. I took a day off yesterday, but hey, I'm here. Tell me if you like it. You can, like I said, come up. Let's see. It's my last day off. Yeah, yeah, for sure. hmm It's been real. I think I got 2 more weeks coming up though in April, so that's gonna be cool. Not too much longer. So yeah, if someone wants to speak and get it off your chest, like yesterday might as well have been. Uh, Plumpy wanted to say a prayer, want to talk about his birthday. That's fine, right? Just always try to relate it to the situation we are at the present. I love it. Okay. All right, man. Let's go. Keep listening.
First thing is that there may be a way in which that idea of the mirrored consciousness, the relationship consciousness, may be a little bit hidden to your conscious mind. Even the mystery of relationships and that true meeting of yourself truly connecting with another individual, especially in the early part of life, because 12th house placements often reflect something that starts off very unconscious. And as part of our journey through this life, we come into a conscious relationship with the principles, the rulership, the planets in that house, and so on.
It could be like Ben. That could be with the whole thing about, like I said, your relationship with your good friend starts off at gangbusters, unconsciously, everything's clicking. But the more you're so intuitive of the relationship aspect in that mystical, the powerhouse of Pisces, that you start seeing the little nitpicking, the things that you don't like. But just try to zoom out and look at the things you do like, right? And how those things you don't like I said, can tighten it up and make you an even better person. But you gotta hang in there, okay, buddy?
So there may have been a way that, especially in early life, relationships may have felt like a mystery. And it's really about that true connection with you and that place where the true you meets the other.
Yeah, because as a kindergarten, Ben would even say, uh, "I don't have any." I said, "You have a lot of friends, right?" He's like, "I don't have any friends." It's like, come on, bro. I know you have friends, but maybe he can't see it. You know, maybe he can't see it. We gotta strengthen that relationship you have with yourself too, and extend it to the other outwardly. Okay, Ben. Okay, people listening.
That essence of that connection may have felt somehow separate, somehow like you're not quite getting it. It doesn't mean you don't connect, because the interesting thing about 12th house placements is that they are very deeply a part of you. It's the conscious mind that, at least in the early part of life, doesn't recognize or isn't aware of that piece of you.
The conscious mind. See, the knowing is the unconscious mind, the core being, right? That knows you. Shout out to Brother Panic, rest in peace, travel in peace. He said that the subconscious mind actually is the catalyst, is the powerhouse that's running our conscious mind. There's really only one mind. However, if you want to break it out, you know, the subconscious mind is the fuel, the context, the content of what makes this whole dream while you're dreaming while you're awake possible, right? So Ben, you're I'm assuming things, right? But fuck it, I'm your dad. You have this subconscious relationship where you're clicking with the person. I remember one time you said the girl said she wanted to marry you or something, right? That's a connection, right? So, but then by the end of the month, y'all were enemies, you said, right? So there's something there, right? On the unconscious that's real and authentic. It's just that we gotta train our conscious mind how to be patient and be mindful and use critical thinking to make sure we can get the most out of these relationships and be, an authentic, real, lovable person, strong person.
So, first way it may have played out is a way in which relationships overall may have felt mysterious, like how to actually connect, how to get it. There also may be a way that that relationship piece takes you into the unconscious and into the depths. Your deepest relationships may be meant to put you in touch with
Thank you, Crazy
the
Mama.
depths of your knowing that is not connected to conscious realms. So you
Comment from Crazy Mama, Ben. Let me see. He said, "Listen to your father, Ben. He's wise." I like that. Yeah, absolutely. What did I do with my thing? My other video. There it is. Ah, there you are.
You may call in partners of all kinds who awaken this in you, who take you deeper, who connect you in all kinds of interesting ways to the unconscious dream world spaces. When you have this placement, relationships are undoubtedly going to be an interesting part of your life path. Of course, this is true for everyone, but for a 12th house Libra placement, there's a way in which the mystery of relationships and the mystery of the depths of our unconscious meet up in some interesting synergy. I would love to hear how this plays out for you. If you'd like to share, drop me a note in the comments. but I'll invite you to explore.
So there you go, Ben. You listen to that astrologer, listen to Crazy Mama, listen to your father. Yeah, this whole thing about being mirrors, you know. Mirrors project what they see onto you. For example, when someone sees that they're their own worst enemy, hanging on to those like self-limiting beliefs like I can't be myself, or no one will like me, or I have to change my personality in every environment just to fit in. The nice guy syndrome we talk about. Um, Ignoring the fact that we're here on earth to be our true, authentic self. It'll trigger something if you look at it like that, and if you're ready to do the work, Ben, you can move forward to be even more authentic. But if you're not quite ready yet, I hopefully you won't be blaming people too much. Because when you blame, all you're doing is making yourself uncomfortable, right? You're being someone that you're not. You see, you hear this? This is the junk man. This is what our Sanford and Son sounds like in our neighborhood. They're saying junk, junk, junk. I have your junk. That's 12th house. Get rid of your mess, your 12th house mess, your junk, so you can be authentic. This is the last cycle of this house. Being authentic is the root of this house, this 12th house. And if you think of the movie Groundhog Day, that's definitely the premise of the 12th house. Bill Murray's character is stuck in a perpetual loop, repeating the same mistakes until he finally learns that it's his ego and selflessness that's the problem. And once he has enough practice and learns that his life improves when he is truly authentic, truly his authentic self, he can stop that loop and move on to the next day. Because we can pretty much see all the themes of the 12th house in that movie: ending, closures, healing, spirituality, subconscious, solitude, karma, old age, afterlife, everything that's hidden in everything that's hidden. All these self-limiting beliefs that aren't serving you. You know? The 12th house is to make it to the next level, right? Make it to the next level. We're about to fucking kill it in a good way and be back to school. Um, and really show them what we're made of. Is this the school of life 2025 here on earth? Yes, it is. You know? And I was locked up on vacation for a minute. But it was one of those what they call it, white collar crime prisons, right? Where everything's cool, everything's copacetic. If I'm gonna be locked up, I want to be locked up with y'all, so we can learn these techniques and modalities to be a better person that's controlling our soul on this journey, right? Anyway, it's my last day out, right? What's the first thing you're gonna do when you get out? Live every day like it's your last, because when you do that, you're always getting the most of whatever's in front of you. Peace. NPC the game. Love you, Ben, and his family. Chat.